The moment Ashley Miller stepped through the imposing double doors of Riverdale High, the familiar symphony of whispers began. New kid, outsider, target. It was an old, tired song, the same one played at every school she'd attended. By now, Ashley knew the choreography by heart. Keep your head down, blend into the background, speak only when absolutely necessary, and above all, under any circumstances, never reveal the true extent of what you were capable of, not unless backed into a corner with absolutely no other choice remaining. If only the clique of seniors lounging against the lockers, their eyes tracking her every move from across the hall, had any inkling of what those choices had cost her at the last school, perhaps they'd find another target for their casual cruelty. The weight of their stares felt like a physical pressure against the back of her neck, a heavy cloak of unwelcome attention. Ashley adjusted the worn strap of her backpack, the canvas digging uncomfortably into her shoulder. 3 schools, in just 2 years. Her dad Michael had promised, with that weary hopefulness she knew too well, that this move, this town, would finally be the last one. Ashley wasn't holding her breath. Stability felt like a foreign concept, a luxury reserved for other families. She navigated the bustling corridor towards the administration office, the noise and motion a stark contrast to the tense silence she carried within. "You must be Ashley Miller," the school secretary chirped, peering over the top of rhinestone-studded glasses that seemed slightly at odds with the drab office environment. Her voice was overly bright, a practiced professional pleasantness. "Ashley, yes, just Ashley," came the automatic correction, a reflex honed over years of introductions. The secretary's lips pursed almost imperceptibly, a fleeting moo of disapproval at the correction, before her smile snapped back into place. "Well, just Ashley," she emphasized the name slightly. "Here is your class schedule and a map of the campus. First period begins in 15 minutes. Plenty of time to get settled. I've assigned Megan Lowell to show you around today. She's one of our student ambassadors." The secretary gestured towards the doorway, where a girl with a genuinely bright smile and a cascade of vibrant copper hair had materialized, as if on cue. "Welcome to Riverdale High," Megan said, her enthusiasm a refreshing change from the secretary's forced cheerfulness. "Let me see your schedule." She took the paper Ashley offered, her eyes scanning the classes. "Oh, cool. We have 3 classes together. English, history, and gym. This'll be fun." Megan's energy was infectious, but Ashley maintained her usual reserve, a lifetime of caution acting as a shield. As Megan led the way through the increasingly crowded hallways, pointing out the library, the cafeteria, and the main gym, Ashley's mind was already working, automatically taking mental notes. Exit points, open spaces, potential bottlenecks, the flow of student traffic, old habits, ingrained for survival, died hard. The tour concluded at Ashley's assigned locker, number 224, situated in a busy main corridor. Megan glanced at her phone, her bright expression clouding over with a slight frown. "Shoot, I completely forgot I need to run to the library to return these books before first period. Will you be okay finding room 204 on your own? It's just down this hall and up the stairs." Ashley simply nodded, appreciating the brief moment of solitude Megan's departure would afford her. Megan flashed another quick smile and disappeared into the churning river of students heading towards their classes. The corridor was beginning to empty as the insistent ringing of the first warning bell echoed off the lockers. Ashley spun the combination lock on locker 224, the tumblers clicking softly. She tested it twice, ensuring it opened smoothly before pulling the metal door open. Just as she reached inside for her history textbook, a large shadow fell across the locker's interior. "That's not your locker," a deep, gravelly voice stated, dripping with arrogance. Ashley turned slowly, schooling her features into neutrality. She found herself facing a boy built like a college linebacker, flanked by 2 equally imposing friends who seemed to serve as his personal bookends. The leader, the one who had spoken, wore a faded blue and gold Riverdale High Letterman jacket with the name Carson stitched proudly across the back in elaborate script. His dark hair was styled in an expensive, meticulously messy cut that suggested both inherited money and a deep-seated vanity. His eyes, cold and assessing, swept over Ashley with disdain. "Number 224, Ashley replied calmly, pointing to the small, scratched metal plate riveted onto the locker door. "Assigned by the administration office just this morning." Carson's eyes narrowed, his expression darkening. "That locker, that's been my extra locker, my personal storage since freshman year. Administration must have screwed up royally." One of his friends, a lanky kid with a perpetual sneer, snickered audibly. "Yeah, Carson. Looks like they made 2 mistakes today. giving this nobody your locker and letting her enroll here in the first place. The other friend, shorter but broader, just cracked his knuckles, a silent, menacing promise. Ashley recognized the moment instantly for what it was, a test, a challenge, a blatant claiming of territory. It was depressingly predictable. Her father's words echoed in her memory, a constant mantra. Choose your battles carefully, Ash. Most confrontations aren't worth the potential cost. Defiance now would only escalate things, draw unwanted attention. Okay, Ashley said, keeping her voice even, betraying none of the familiar tension coiling in her gut. No problem. I'll go back to the office and request a different one. She closed the locker door gently and made to step away, hoping to de-escalate. But Carson wasn't finished. His hand shot out, shoving Ashley hard against the cold metal lockers. The impact jarred her, stealing her breath for a second. That's right, newbie, Carson sneered, leaning in close, his breath smelling faintly of stale coffee. And while you're at it, you better watch yourself in these halls. Accidents happen, especially to people who don't pay attention to who runs this place. A familiar, dangerous heat bloomed deep in Ashley's chest, a simmering ember of controlled fury. But years of relentless training, of discipline hammered into her by her father, kicked in automatically. Breathe, center yourself, control it. This isn't the time. This isn't the place. Got it, Ashley replied, her voice deliberately steady, level, meeting his gaze without flinching but without challenge. Carson seemed almost disappointed by the lack of a more volatile reaction. He clearly thrived on fear and intimidation. With a final sneer, he deliberately knocked the books and schedule from Ashley's hands, scattering them across the linoleum floor before sauntering away with his two shadows, their boisterous laughter echoing unnervingly down the now nearly empty corridor. Ashley knelt, gathering her scattered papers and books, her jaw tight. Just another day, another school, another bully. As she reached for her history textbook, a pair of worn, slightly scuffed Converse sneakers stopped beside her. A hand reached down to help. "Sorry about that," said a lanky boy with thick-rimmed glasses perched on his nose. He pushed them up, nervously. Carson Williams and his crew. They're grade A jerks, monumental ones actually. He offered a slightly awkward, friendly smile. "I'm Noah, by the way. Noah Kaplan." "Ashley Miller," she replied, accepting the last of her papers. "From him. Yeah, I heard we were getting a new student. Word travels ridiculously fast around here." Small town telegraph. Noah handed over the history book. "Carson's the captain of the wrestling team. Big man on campus. Plus, his dad's on the school board, practically owns the place, or at least thinks he does. Gives him a sense of entitlement the size of Texas." "Say it's fine," Ashley said, straightening up and tucking her book securely under her arm. "Not exactly my first charming welcome committee experience." Noah raised a curious eyebrow. "You move around a lot, huh?" "You could say that," Ashley replied evasively. The final strident bell rang, signaling the official start of classes. Both Ashley and Noah hurried off in the direction of their respective classrooms. Ashley slipped into room 204, English Literature, just as the teacher was closing the door behind the last student, earning her a mild frown. She instantly felt the weight of 27 pairs of curious eyes turning towards her. The sudden silence was palpable. Our new student," the teacher said. He was a man likely in his late 50s, with a neatly trimmed grey beard, intelligent eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, and a tweed jacket that looked well-loved. "Welcome. I'm Mr. Evans. Why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself to the class?" Ashley stepped forward reluctantly, hating the spotlight. "I'm Ashley Miller," she said, keeping her voice low and even. "I just moved here from Sacramento. Not much else to tell, really." A smart aleck voice from the back of the classroom called out, "What, you in witness protection or something?" Scattered, nervous laughter followed. Ashley ignored it, scanning the room for an empty seat. There was only one, situated directly in front of Carson Williams. Of course. She took the seat, bracing herself. Sure enough, before Mr. Evans had even finished writing the day's agenda on the whiteboard, she felt the deliberate rhythmic kicking against the back of her chair. It continued, an annoying, persistent rhythm throughout Mr. Evans's entire opening lecture on Shakespeare's Macbeth. By lunchtime, Ashley had mentally mapped the majority of Riverdale High's sprawling campus and constructed a preliminary social hierarchy chart in her head. It was a familiar exercise, a survival mechanism. Carson Williams and his coterie of jocks, mostly football and wrestling types, held court at the cluster of central tables in the noisy, cavernous cafeteria, their laughter loud and obnoxious. Megan Lowell, the friendly student ambassador, was seated with a group Ashley pegged as the theater kids, animatedly discussing what looked like scripts. Noah Kaplan, the helpful boy with the glasses, was tucked away in a quieter corner, with a small intense group huddled over a game of magic. The gathering, judging by the cards, spread out. Ashley, seeking anonymity as always, chose an empty table near the side exit, strategically positioned for a quick escape if needed. She unwrapped the sandwich she'd packed, peanut butter and jelly on whole wheat, a staple of her transient life, and tried to ignore the low hum of surrounding conversations. "Mind if I join you?" Noah Kaplan appeared suddenly beside her table, balancing a tray laden with what the cafeteria menu optimistically called Italian bake, a dubious-looking concoction of pasta, cheese, and some kind of red sauce. Ashley glanced up, surprised, then nodded towards the empty chair opposite her. "Free country," she mumbled around a bite of her sandwich. Noah slid into the chair, setting his tray down with a clatter. "So," he began, after scooping up a large forkful of the pasta bake, "what really brings you to our scenic, thrilling metropolis of Riverdale?" "Population board," he chewed thoughtfully. "Seriously, though, why here?" Ashley poked suspiciously at the apple slices on her own tray. "Dad's job," she said, keeping it brief. "He's a security consultant, specialized stuff. Goes where the contracts take him." "Ah, the mysterious traveling man," Noah mused. "And your mom?" Ashley's posture stiffened slightly. "Not in the picture," she replied, her tone flat, a clear signal that the topic was closed. Noah, perceptive despite his slightly awkward demeanor, seemed to sense the invisible boundary immediately. "Right, gotcha," he said quickly, turning his attention back to his lunch. "Well, Riverdale isn't so bad once you get the lay of the land and learn who to actively avoid, like Carson and his merry band of morons." He subtly nodded his head towards the center tables where Carson was holding court, flanked by the same two guys from the hallway incident, especially Damon Foster and Tyler Reed. "Damon's the one with the military-style buzz cut," Noah elaborated, keeping his voice low. "His dad's the town's chief of police. Explains a lot, right? Immunity, basically. Tyler, the one who looks like he's permanently smelling something foul, like a backed-up sewer. He's just mean. Pure psycho, enjoys making people miserable for sport." Noah shook his head. "The three of them have been terrorizing kids in this town since elementary school. A long and storied reign of terror." "Why doesn't anyone stop them?" Ashley asked, genuinely curious. It seemed incredible that such blatant bullying could continue unchecked. Noah let out a short, humorless laugh. "Are you kidding? Power, money, influence?" Carson's dad, Mr. Williams III, sits on the school board and donates generously. Think new football uniforms, scoreboard upgrades, that kind of thing. Buys a lot of goodwill and blind eyes. Damon's dad, Chief Foster, conveniently makes any official complaints about teenagers being teenagers disappear. And Tyler, well, Tyler's just the muscle, the attack dog. Nobody wants to cross that unholy trinity. Teachers look the other way. Administration finds reasons to be busy. It's messed up. Ashley absorbed this information silently. It painted a grim but sadly familiar picture. Power dynamics, corruption, apathy. The ingredients were the same everywhere, just the names and faces changed. Later that afternoon, as the final bell echoed, signaling the end of the school day, Ashley headed back to locker 224, hoping the morning's unpleasantness had been a one-off. No such luck. Carson, Damon, and Tyler were lounging against the bank of lockers, directly blocking hers, smirks firmly in place. A small knot of other students loitered nearby, clearly anticipating more drama. "Excuse me," Ashley said quietly, stopping a few feet away. "I need to get into my locker." Carson pushed himself off the lockers slowly, deliberately. "Oh, look, guys, it speaks," he announced to his friends, who chuckled appreciatively. "You know, Miller, I was thinking about our little chat this morning, and I don't think I made myself clear enough." He took a step closer, invading her personal space. Damon and Tyler shifted slightly, flanking him, effectively boxing Ashley in. "This isn't just about the locker, see? It's about respect, understanding the pecking order. Around here, you're new, you're nobody. You need to learn your place." "I'm not looking for trouble, Carson," Ashley repeated, keeping her voice calm and low, trying not to attract more attention from the onlookers. "Too late." Carson's smile was predatory, devoid of any warmth. It didn't reach his cold eyes. "See, word gets around fast in Riverdale, and the word is, you got kicked out of your last school. Sacramento, wasn't it? That true?" Ashley's body tensed involuntarily, a cold dread washing over her. How could they possibly know that? The records were supposed to be sealed, expunged, her father had assured her. Carson saw the flicker of reaction in her eyes, the momentary lapse in her composure. "Ah, I'll take that shocked silence as a yes," he continued, clearly enjoying her discomfort. "So what was it, Miller? Drugs, assault, maybe a bit of both? You look like the type." "I need to catch my bus," Ashley said, glancing towards the exit, trying to disengage. Tyler moved smoothly to block her path. "Bus can wait," he grunted, cracking his knuckles again. "We're having a conversation here. Show some respect." Ashley's mind raced, automatically calculating odds, distances, potential witnesses. 20, maybe 25 students still lingering in the hall. A teacher visible in a classroom about 30 feet away, grading papers, oblivious. Too many eyes. Too public for the kind of physical confrontation Carson and his thugs clearly intended to provoke. Not here. Not now. She needed to control the time and place. "Tomorrow," Ashley said suddenly, her voice firm, surprising even herself. "After school, we can talk then. Settle this." Carson seemed taken aback by the unexpected suggestion, a flicker of surprise crossing his face before the arrogant smirk returned. "Oh, you want to schedule your beatdown? Okay, newbie. Sure," he chuckled. "Behind the gym, 4 o'clock sharp. We'll have a proper Riverdale welcoming committee waiting just for you." He gestured grandly. Damon and Tyler snickered again. They parted slightly, allowing Ashley to pass. Their mocking laughter followed her all the way down the corridor and out to the waiting school bus, grating on her nerves like sandpaper. That evening, in the small, sparsely furnished apartment above a laundromat that still smelled faintly of bleach and unpacked cardboard boxes, Ashley went through her familiar post-school ritual. She meticulously wrapped her hands with worn cotton wraps, the movements precise and automatic, before launching into a relentless attack on the heavy bag hanging from a reinforced steel beam in the corner of the cramped living room. The rhythmic thud of her fists and feet against the dense canvas filled the small space. "Rough first day?" her father, Michael Miller, asked quietly from the doorway. He stood there, still in his work clothes, a simple button-down shirt and slacks typical for his security consultant cover, but with his tie loosened and his expression weary. Ashley didn't pause her assault on the bag, unleashing a sharp 3-punch combination, jab, cross, hook, that sent the heavy bag swinging violently on its chain. "The usual," she grunted between impacts. Michael watched his daughter, his eyes the same deep brown as hers, filled with a familiar mixture of pride and concern. At 45, he still moved with the quiet grace and coiled efficiency of the highly trained fighter he'd once been, before tragedy had struck, before he'd become a widower solely responsible for raising a daughter with unique challenges, before their lives had become a series of hasty relocations, always looking over their shoulders, before he'd traded the MMA cage for the shadows of corporate security and clandestine protection details. "Want to talk about it?" he asked, his voice gentle but firm. "Not really." Another combination, faster this time, ending with a powerful, roundhouse kick that connected with a satisfying thwack. The bag groaned under the impact. "Ashley," Michael's voice took on that tone, the one that meant he wasn't just asking as her dad, but as her instructor, her Sifu, the man who had painstakingly taught her everything she knew about defending herself. She caught the swinging bag, stilling its momentum, her breathing slightly heavy but controlled. "Some guys," she explained, finally turning to face him, wiping a bead of sweat from her temple with the back of her wrapped hand. "The usual alpha male types. Think they run the school. Typical power plays, locker incident, intimidation tactics." She shrugged. "I didn't engage, Dad. Like we practiced. De-escalated. Avoided confrontation." "But," Michael prompted, sensing the unspoken part of the story. "But," Ashley continued, her voice dropping slightly, "they've somehow heard about Sacramento, about what happened there." Michael's face tightened instantly, the easy weariness replaced by sharp tension. "That's impossible. Ash, those records were sealed, expunged. I made sure of it myself." "Well, someone unsealed them or someone talked," Ashley said, unwrapping her hands slowly, the damp cotton clinging to her skin. "They knew, they threw it in my face. They want to meet tomorrow after school behind the gym. And you'll walk away," Michael finished for her, his voice firm, stating a fact, not asking a question. "Like we agreed, no matter the provocation." He met her gaze, his own intense. 2 more months, Ashley. Just 2 more months until graduation. Then college, a completely fresh start, a clean slate, no more looking back." "You said that about this place too, Dad," Ashley reminded him gently, the weariness evident in her own voice now. Michael sighed, running a hand through his short graying hair. I know I did. I'm trying, Ash. I really am trying to make this one stick. Ashley offered a small, tired smile, the tension easing slightly. The shared burden, the constant running, it took its toll on both of them. I know, Dad, she said softly. After a simple dinner of takeout pizza eaten mostly in silence, Ashley retreated to her small bedroom and booted up her battered laptop. Driven by a need for information, a tactical necessity, she began searching online for anything she could find about Carson Williams, Damon Foster, and Tyler Reed. The archives of the local newspaper, the Riverdale Herald, proved depressingly informative, revealing a clear and disturbing pattern of behavior stretching back years. Carson Williams, star wrestler, three-time state championship contender, son of influential school board member Charles Williams III. Damon Foster, son of police chief Robert Foster, suspended twice from school for undisclosed infractions, charges mysteriously dropped on both occasions. Tyler Reed, known troublemaker, a history of petty vandalism and assault, rumored juvenile record that had conveniently been expunged upon turning 18. And then, the most chilling discovery, Daniel Kelly, a former Riverdale High student, hospitalized last year with multiple injuries, broken ribs, severe concussion, fractured wrist, after what the official school report and a brief newspaper article vaguely described as an unfortunate fall down a flight of stairs near the gymnasium. Daniel Kelly and his family had moved out of Riverdale shortly afterward, transferring him to a school in another district. Ashley stared at the grainy photo accompanying the article, a picture of a smiling boy in a band uniform. A fall down the stairs, right? Ashley closed the laptop slowly, the cold certainty settling in her stomach. Her decision, already half-formed, solidified. Walking away wasn't always an option, not when others were clearly getting hurt. The next day passed in a haze of forced normalcy, a blur of tedious classes punctuated by sideways glances and hushed whispers. Word of the scheduled meeting behind the gym had spread through the student body like wildfire. By sixth period study hall, even the usually upbeat Megan Lowell had heard the rumors. She cornered Ashley near the library bookshelves, her expression anxious. "Ashley, you can't actually go meet them," she whispered urgently, casting nervous glances around the quiet room. "Seriously, last year they cornered that kid, Daniel Kelly, the one who fell down the stairs. He ended up in the hospital for over a week. 3 broken ribs, a concussion. It was bad. Carson's dad smoothed it all over, of course." "Daniel Kelly," Ashley said quietly, nodding. "Yeah, I read about him online last night." "Then you know what they're capable of," Megan insisted, her voice rising slightly in panic. "Just don't show up, call in sick, go home early, anything." "That won't solve anything, Megan," Ashley replied calmly, though she appreciated the concern. "It'll just postpone it. They'll find another time, another place. Neither will getting yourself beaten to a pulp," Megan hissed, drawing a sharp, silencing look from the supervising teacher at the front desk. Ashley just shook her head slightly and turned back to her textbook. After the final bell rang, Noah Kaplan intercepted Ashley as she navigated the crowded hallway towards the gym exit. His face was pale, his glasses slightly askew. "Ashley, wait up. Everyone's talking about it. Carson's got half the football team waiting back there. It's an ambush, not a talk. Just go home, please. It's not worth getting hurt over a stupid locker or some macho pride thing." Ashley paused, meeting Noah's genuinely worried gaze. "I appreciate the concern, Noah, really, but this isn't just about the locker anymore. It's about Daniel Kelly. It's about them thinking they can do whatever they want without consequences. I need to handle this." Noah studied her face intently for a long moment, seeing the quiet determination in her eyes. "You're actually going, aren't you?" he asked, his voice filled with disbelief and a touch of, "So, you're really going to face them?" Ashley offered a small, enigmatic smile. "See you tomorrow, Noah." She adjusted her backpack straps and headed towards the rear exit, towards the confrontation she couldn't avoid.